Right, good morning everyone. I'll change this, is that okay? Yeah, cool. Yes, morning, I'm Stephen, so there's some very familiar faces in the room, some not so familiar faces, so for those of you who don't know me or MediaWorks, I've got to introduce ourselves because it's been recorded for training and monitoring purposes, so for the MD purposes I think. So yeah, MediaWorks have been around for about 6 years now. We're a dedicated online marketing agency, particularly focused in SEO, PPC, and conversion rate improvements as well. And something that we're very, very proud of, which very recently, again, I've got to get this one in, is that for those of you who read The Drum, they just produced a big digital census, and we were the #1 agency in the Northeast, so digital agency that is. So given the amount of talent in the Northeast, we're very proud that we came out as top. So yeah, and another reason, rather than just kind of showing off or whatever that might be. It's very much that what we're about to cover today is come from defining processes, redefining things, and more from experience. Okay, so not everything that everyone does is right first time. You do something, you learn from it, and you move on. Okay, so we haven't read a book on SEO and then we've gone and done it, we're in it, we're emerging it. Same with content marketing as well. So we're going to learn today that content marketing is nothing new, even though it's particularly cliche these days. We've got a great example of the early days of content marketing. So, given the context of today's changing world of marketing, I thought it would be useful just to look at the changing world of SEO. Okay, many of you will be involved in SEO. Many of you are interested in, business owners, marketeers who doesn't want to be #1 on Google. So everybody is interested in it, I feel, or maybe they're not. Maybe that's just me. But right from the very early days of search engines, or the first incarnation of what could be a search engine back in 1993, right through to 20 years on, and methods have changed a lot. Gone are the days where stuff in a keyword tag would make you rank #1. The search engines themselves are becoming far more intelligent to underhand, or black hat tactics, or whatever you might know them as. Basically, these are just unethical ways of trying to spam the system and get up there. Inflated visibility. So we're going to look at how content on your site has changed, how links have changed as well, and very much how social content plays a very big part in this overall big algorithm, which probably contains around 250 or so factors. So we've seen very much a change of on-site. So back in the day, what you could do is a lot of websites would just go out and scrape websites. So for those of you who have websites that have just copied and pasted content from either suppliers or manufacturers, you should maybe rethink that, okay? The search engine is particularly looking for very much content creators, okay? So who are the best, most informative, engaging organizations, people, whatever that might be, to promote on the search engines? Because as long as it keeps doing that, then we're more likely to go back to it for information, okay? All these doom and gloom merchants that say SEO are dead, links are dead, gone are the days of being able to spam the system, are wrong. As long as we all keep using Google and the likes, Bing and Yahoo do exist, SEO is always going to be there. We're always going to want to need, and organizations are always going to want to put themselves in front of that audience, because that audience are actively in that frame of mind to want to engage with an organization. So, scraping content, copy and pasting content, if that's on your site now, I would urge you just to rethink that and just maybe rewrite it. Again, another kind of on-site element or content element is putting up a blog post and then just spamming it out to sites like Ezine Articles, Article-Base, any aggregator sites that just collate blog content which is very thin. This one particularly talks about a birthday and how great it is to have a birthday, and everybody laughs, and rubbish really, quite frankly, okay? But that's what it is, okay? And a lot of this was there to generate content, first of all, for article space, but second of all, to generate links, okay? And we'll look at kind of some spammy content examples of links. Second of all, or thirdly, I should say, if you've got very heavy ad copy, so Google AdSense, some of you may recognize this. If you rely heavily on Google AdSense revenues, it came out probably about 10 months or so ago now with a page layout recommendations. So very much, again, that's not useful for a user. A user doesn't want to see ads, even though Google's revenue base is built around ads. Google, from a natural point of view, doesn't want to promote its own ads on information sites. Okay, so that's just a little bit about content, and so again, just looking back and saying, right, go back, think about your content, think about what you're writing, why are you different? Everyone has USPs, everyone is value for money, even MediaWorks offer value for money. Okay, that's not a differentiator. What are your real differentiators? What can make you different? And that's what the search engines want to get to. So from an offside point of view, you know, if we think over these kind of 20 years or so, you know, Google came along in 98, believe it or not, and has radicalized the way we do things. Websites had no links, okay? And if we think, you know, it's the World Wide Web, everything is connected on the web. Well, not everything, but most things are connected on the web, okay? So what we want to have is we want to move towards having zero links. So if you put a website up there brand new, it's going to have no links. So what we've got to do is we've got to create a network around you so that Google can see that actually you have influence, okay? Because the whole algorithm is based around, you know, putting up some great content and how do people regard that content, okay? So we've moved from having, you know, zero links at all, then we've gone through a period right now of having valueless links, okay? So those of which we'll look at in just a second. But, you know, some of you have probably heard about marauding pandas and penguins waltzing all over the place, penalising websites left, right and centre. Well, if you've done things underhand, the search engines are going to catch up with you, okay? And as I mentioned, they're becoming particularly more intelligent about how they assess things, very much putting this qualitative metric over the top of that. And there are big indicators in the work, and they've got big web spam teams that work in day out to remove those sites from its search engines that are just trying to do things in a dodgy way. So what we've got to get are these valuable links. Okay, so how do we get those? What are those valuable links? And this was very much the old method was we'd go out and we'd get a link. Okay, so you'd say, hi, I'm Stephen from MediaWorks. Can I have a link from your site? I might even pay you some money for that, or I might even guise it as a sponsorship or a donation, or whatever that might have been. But we've always known that we have to get links, and that's not going to change. Okay, but I think the way that we track links and the way we acquire links has changed and needs to change if you're going to be successful moving forward. Okay? So here's a couple of examples of just some very poor links. Okay, so what had is that, you know, throughout the course of 2003 through 2009, 10, there was an emergence of a great number of just crap links directories. Okay, excuse the French. This one is just a dodgy PHP directory. Okay, and there were thousands of these. Okay, and I've got an example which is a real world example of someone who was sitting in Argentina, a 14-year-old kid who was a millionaire through creating these directories. He'd take $3 a time for a link, and at the time they were working, okay? And he had a multitude of these websites, you know, great for him. I'm standing here. He's a millionaire. Right, so that was one example. Comment spamming was a particular good one back in the day. So, you know, people would just go on comment forums and just say, great article, hey, please post again. The article was rubbish, but because it got a link, and, you know, rubbish links, okay, buy Viagra and all that sort of trash that we don't want to be associated with. All these forums are being closed down, okay, being closed down through the search engines, and they've disappeared. So if you did have links from those sites, they've gone. And this is what we're talking about, these valueless links. No one is going to use these, okay? Another cheap tactic was just to use blog rolls. So you go out to blog web owners and say, right, we'll just put a link on your blog roll, and then we'll have dozens of links, okay? In some cases, thousands of links, okay? One key thing to remember is that it's not necessarily just the number of links that you have from a website, more the number of websites individually, okay? And I say, you know, think about it as if you're on X Factor and you had 10,000 votes, but it was just your mother voting for you, you're not really that popular, are you? It's just your mother, okay? So again, looking at the number of websites, the number of what we call linking root domains, and making sure that we increase those. So it's this notion that we've very much got to earn these links now, okay? We want people to do the work for us, okay? We don't want to go out and say, right, look, let's go out and we'll approach 100 websites, and we'll say, right, we want to link on these 100 websites. You're probably successful between 5 and 10% of the time, okay? Because you can't just put a link on a site. So we've got to create, you've got to create yourself as the resource or as close to your vertical as you can be, so that when you put something out there, people want to share it. Okay? How much content is out there? How many times you say, you know, we'll just put this great infographic up, come on and share, and you don't do anything about it because you're moving on, you're too busy. Okay? The proliferation of social, you know, with Instagram, with Vine, with Pinterest, we wouldn't have been talking about those 2 years ago, some not even last year. Add to that Facebook, Google+, we're too busy to share things. So we only share what is really valuable and what is really close to our heart. So again, we talk about understanding your audience, and we'll talk about that in just a second from a content point of view. But really, who's going to share that? Okay, nobody's interested in how many cups of coffee you drank last year as an organisation, right? For goodness sake, come on. So we've got to put some great, valuable content out there so that people can really do that work for us, okay? And the search engines, particularly Google, are moving very much towards pushing the brands. You've probably seen this for the big key phrases, John Lewis, ASOS, Debenhams, House of Fraser, all these big mammoth super sites are dominating the SERPs, okay, the search engine results page, for those of you who don't know. So where do we earn those links? Well, you as organisations have assets that you can use that are linkable, okay? There are also those rare references as well, which will come on a fairly infrequent basis. You can't necessarily control those to a certain degree. So we want to look at what are your valuable opportunities and how you use those, and what are those rare references, so content marketing, okay?